sea had a heart, it would be in Malta. As one of Europe's smallest countries, with the tiniest capital in the European Union, Malta sits between Europe and Africa, earning its title as the heart of the Mediterranean. This is not just due to its location, but also its rich history. Used as a stepping stone from Europe to Africa, Malta has been inhabited since ancient times. The Maltese archipelago consists of 3 major inhabited islands and around 20 smaller islets and rocks. The island of Malta is the largest, followed by Gozo and then Comino, its third inhabited island where merely 3 souls permanently live. Yet, its Blue Lagoon beach makes Comino worldwide known. History of Malta is outstanding. The world's oldest freestanding structure is on Gozo Island. It is older than Stone Age and the Egyptian pyramids. Malta is now a popular tourist spot. With its affordable Ryanair flights from all around Europe, it is more accessible to travelers than ever before. Although the main travel season in Malta is summer, this is an all-year destination due to its mild climate, amazing history and rich culture. As one of Europe's earliest settled countries, Malta holds a diverse cultural heritage. Its name is derived from Phoenician Mallet, later Hellenized to Melita, gradually evolved into the present-day Malta during the Middle Ages. Key historical events have significantly shaped Malta's collective identity. Legend has it that in the 1st century St. Paul shipwrecked on Malta, leading to the island's early Christian community. Despite strong Islamization during the Arab conquest, today's Maltese remain deeply religious and among the most conservative Christian nations in Europe. Following Norman liberation and frequent Ottoman pirate raids in the 16th century, the Maltese fortified the island. The Hospitallers, also known as Knights of St. George, got Malta in their possession and relocated the capital to Birgu. Great Siege of Malta in 1565 was a remarkable event. Knights Hospitallers defended the island against the Ottoman Empire. It was a testament of resilience, bravery, and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Even today, victory in the Great Siege remains a source of pride for the Maltese people. World War II marked another significant period when Malta, as a British port, endured continuous Nazi bombings. While Malta ceased being a British colony in 1964, cultural ties persist, including English as a second official language, driving on the left side, and other cultural influence. My adventure in Malta kicked off at the charming National Airport. A small yet bustling terminal is well linked with the frequent buses to Valletta and rest of the island. Built in the second half in the 16th century, Valletta was strategically constructed at an almost unconquerable elevation on the Shiberas Peninsula between the 2 natural harbors. As Valletta is situated on peninsula, it is nearly impossible to reach the city without passing through its suburb, Floriana, which is separated from Valletta by its city walls. Initially envisioned as the battleground for the future siege, Floriana has evolved into a vibrant suburb long integrated as an urban extension of Valletta and its main transportation hub. The bus station is located right before the main gates, adjacent to the beautiful Triton Fontaine. Valletta is the smallest and southernmost capital of European Union, founded in 17th century by Jean de Valette, person after whom city is named. It was after the Great Siege of Malta in the 16th century, in which Knights of St. John defeated the Turks and saved the islands from Ottoman invasion. Therefore, on the place of a fortress of San Elmo, Maltese built new city, new capital, which is even today one of the loveliest places on the island. The grandiose architecture of Baroque style stretches through the straight narrow streets of Valletta, reaching from monumental fortifications to the impressive St. George's Co-Cathedral and the legendary St. Elmo Fortress, culminating in the Upper Baracca Gardens offering fabulous views on the harbor and three cities. Although Valletta seems to be the oldest city and its for sure one of the most picturesque cities on the island. Place where most of historical things from medieval time until today, because actually ancient history mostly happened in Medina and on various sites around the island, which I hope we will visit during this trip and you will see in this video. Most of the things from medieval time, and especially during Great Siege of Malta, happened across on three cities. And three cities are places where were original headquarters of Knights of St. John, and they are very nice historical cities which you can visit all together because they're almost connected, and they're together with Valletta closing Grand Harbor, this very big bay which is the most safe harbor not only on Malta, and which is definitely a place because of which island developed and gained such importance in the middle of Mediterranean Sea. The three cities comprising Birgu or Victoriosa, Senglea or Isla, and Cospizua or Bormla stand as a testament to Malta's past and heritage. Birgu, the oldest of the trio, boasts medieval architecture and Fort St. Angelo, a bastion of history linked to the Knights of St. John. Senglea charms with its narrow streets, offering panoramic vistas of the Grand Harbor, while Cospizua echoes its naval legacy through historic buildings and a picturesque waterfront. These three cities on the another side from Valletta of Grand Harbor are the place where was first headquarters of Knights of St. John, and are well fortified old cities, like you can see Birgu across. Perfect places for exploring traditional Malta. The tale of the three cities is interwoven with the Great Siege of Malta. To comprehend their history and architectural splendor, delving into this remarkable historical event becomes imperative. Behind me you can see magnificent Birgu. It was almost unbreakable fortress both during the Great Siege and also later. As you see, fortifications are really amazing. Well, Knights made it such way because they were never sure if Ottomans will not try again to attack Malta, also in later periods. And they knew that now they are aware of mistakes they made in first attack, and it will be much harder attack if it happens. Of course, on another side, once you break your teeth, you don't bite anymore, so actually Ottomans never again tried attack on Malta, and as a consequence, these fortresses were never really in use later. Another name of Birgu, which I'm just entering now, is Victoriosa. It's Victory City, because, well, exactly here it happened, this big victory during the Great Siege. And so notice during this video I'm most of the time talking about this Great Siege when I talk about history, but it's with reason, because it's event which was main turning point in Maltese history. If this event would go different, whole Maltese history would go different. Probably today Malta would look absolutely different. For sure there would not be so many fortifications, because most of them are built after the Great Siege, well, to protect Malta from another siege. Another siege happened. It was in Second World War by Nazis. Fortifications didn't help a lot, but they did, because it was actually all the time air raids. But Malta is only country which got a medal of St. George, I think, Ross, from Great Britain for bravery in war. Well, Malta was never conquered. Not in this fight. It was conquered by France, by Napoleon, almost without fights. But it's hard to say if we can call this lose for knights, even if they lost Malta after this. It's important to know that they swore that they will never fight against Christian forces. Even if Napoleon was quite against Catholic Church, he was still Christian force in their eyes. And of course there was not so willing resistance and fight like against Ottomans. Following the picturesque northern coastline on the fabulous seaside promenade, we can admire the beautiful coastal towns of Marsakala and Marsaxlokk. Nestled within Malta's southeastern region, Marsaxlokk stands as a quaint, traditional fishing village. Its allure lies in a picturesque harbor that beckons tourists with panoramic views, a rich fishing heritage, and splendid restaurants. The sheltered inner harbor is a visual spectacle, adorned by a fleet of traditional Usu boats alongside larger vessels, creating an enchanting and distinctive maritime scenery that creates recognizable Maltese postcard. Ancient capital of Malta, before Knights of St. John moved it in 16th century to Birgu on the Grand Harbor across today's Valletta, was here in Medina. Its old city, built probably already in prehistoric time, which was center of life in ancient Malta, and it was the main Maltese city even when was here Knights of St. John, because most of native Maltese citizens stayed here and mostly here have their headquarters. It's amazing old town with very narrow streets, without cars, or only citizens of the city can come with car, and today is one big open air museum. One of the most popular tourist attractions of Malta is Medina. Medina stayed the hub for the Maltese upper class and religious leaders, with wealth typically staying within families and being handed down through the generations. Being over centuries in shadow of coastal towns, Medina gains its nickname silent city, both by locals and tourists alike. Right now I'm on the main square of Medina and I'm almost completely alone, except few other tourists. There's literally nobody around. It's really look like deserted city. If this place looked to you familiar from somewhere, I'm sure it is. It was the place where was recorded, especially in first seasons, Games of Thrones. It was place of Casterly Rock. And together with Dubrovnik, it's one of the main places of this serial.